The Samsung Galaxy S7 Tab is the best Android tablet that is out there, which isn't saying a lot because there isn't enough competition. But the Samsung S7 Tab is a breath of fresh air in a world that is dominated by Apple and the iPad. I have used the Samsung S7 Tab every day for a week for work, editing photos, movie watching, and a lot more in an attempt to replace my laptop. And these are my thoughts on how well it does. Hey guys, my name is KJOS and this right here is the iPad killer, which is so funny because every time somebody says a product is a killer of another product, it really isn't. But in this case, the comparisons aren't too far off with the Samsung Galaxy S7 Tab. The Samsung S7 Tab build and design is pretty thin and is a very slick design I have grown to like. I'm not really a fan of the bland mystic black color that comes with it, so the case and keyboard help masking it, but we'll talk on that later. The 11-inch tablet is pretty lightweight, coming up to 498 grams, and pretty excellent when using it. The display is the best display on any tablet currently, even better than the iPad Pro. Now that is not a surprise because Samsung makes the best screens out there on any phone or any device, period. It's a Super AMOLED HDR10 Plus display with a 120Hz refresh rate that I welcome, and I can tell the difference between this and a 90Hz on my Pixel 5. The Samsung Galaxy S7 Tab is currently $550 on the Samsung store, and that is about $200 cheaper than the iPad Pro. Another thing is that it actually comes with the S Pen inside the box, so that's great if you're trying to cut down on expenses. On the other hand, the keyboard is $200 that is sold separately. So if you're trying to replace your laptop, it's expensive, don't get me wrong, but if you're trying to replace your laptop, the keyboard is very imperative. The camera on the 7 Tab is pretty decent. The lens is in the middle of the landscape mode, so that's really nice when you're taking Zoom calls and when you're just taking calls generally. Will I ever use this to take pictures? I don't think so. I already have a phone that does that for me. I just use this to scan documents, sign documents, and just do any other thing but taking pictures. There's a USB-C port on the side that is used for transferring files and also for charging the tablet. It also supports 45-watt charging. The speakers are very good, very good in fact. There are 4 speakers on each side of the laptop, 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. So if you're watching anything or listening to music, it's pretty clear and impressive. However, the microphones are just okay. They're not the best out there. I had meetings and people found it hard to hear me even though I could hear them very clearly. As much as people love the S Pen or the Samsung Note series, it was never really my thing. So when I started using it, I was pretty reluctant at first, but if you really want to utilize the display, the 120Hz refresh rate and its low latency, the S Pen is a compatible companion. The S Pen is fantastic for writing notes, signing documents, drawing sketches, and many more. It's a creator's dream, and I love how the S Pen is stored. There's no awkward placement or having to guess where the pen can be stuck to. It's stored at the back with ease. A lot of time you don't even need to look where you're placing it. It's magnetic and it also charges your pen when not in use. So you don't really need extra cables lying around. The S Pen, like the Note series, has a few air gestures and they are just gimmicks. I have never used them and I don't plan on using them as long as I have this tablet. But like I said earlier, the S Pen comes with the tablet itself, so that's really nice from Samsung that you don't have to buy it separately. Also, if you're enjoying this, a sub to the channel will go a long way for me. I am almost on 2,000 subs and I want to get there before December 2020 actually ends. So please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. The keyboard on the Samsung S7 Tab is somewhat better than the Apple keyboard on the iPad Pro because it reminds me of the Surface laptop keyboard, and that alone to me is the best keyboard I have used on any laptop. It's easy to navigate around the letters without being too cramped up. The trackpad is responsive, mouse movement is very smooth without any lag. The keyboard holder isn't very good to be honest, the magnets aren't really strong, and I have almost dropped this like 2 or 3 times or a couple of times over the last couple of days. Angle adjustment is really good though, so you can put it in any angle or direction you want, so it's a nice benefit to have. So battery wise, you really have nothing to worry about because the S7 Tab has an 8,000 mAh of battery, which will last you a whole day and then some. It's a productivity machine and the battery plays its part really well. With the S7 Tab being $200 cheaper than the iPad Pro, it has killer specs. It has the Snapdragon 865 Plus, 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, 128, 256 and 512 gigs of storage with the option of putting a micro SD card which takes it up to 1 terabyte of memory. So with all these killer specs, what can you really do with this tablet? I mean, you can do the normal stuff. You can watch movies on Netflix, you can listen to music, you can draw, you can write, you can note a lot of things down. Or with one tap of a button, you can turn your tablet into Samsung DeX mode. DeX mode basically turns the tablet to a laptop, or at least the familiar look of a desktop computer. You have the taskbar that houses all the apps that are open, notification pops up from the bottom as opposed from the top. You can multitask, create a lot of tabs, and have an array of different apps open if you want. It balances out multitasking better than the iPad Pro, crowning it the king of multitasking. If you feel you need a bigger display, the S7 Tab can even be plugged into a monitor and even give it a more desktop or laptop feel. While DeX Mode has made strides in giving us a more familiar feel with our tablets that looks like a computer or a desktop or a monitor, it still has a lot of shortcomings, which brings me to my next point. Apps on the Samsung S7 Tab are a lot, and they are probably rivaling that of iOS. Editing apps like Lightroom are available if you want to edit your pictures, Microsoft Office for presentations, Clip Studio is available if you're into sketching, but as you can see, I suck at drawing. So with the pros, there are cons. There aren't a lot of creative focused apps within the App Store. There's no Photoshop or Illustrator alternative or even a proper video editing app. The ones within the App Store are very limiting, and when you look at the iPad that has a proper video editing app like LumaFusion, the Samsung S7 Tab comes up short. It's been said over the years that one of the issues with the Samsung Tabs is the software, so hopefully a lot of app developers will come on board to build apps that make the Samsung S7 Tab more appealing to a lot of people. The Samsung S7 Tab is brilliant to have, and if you choose to get one, you're making a great choice and you will not be let down. I wouldn't necessarily call it an iPad killer, but it's a breath of fresh air, and that is great for consumers going forward because this is the best Android tablet that has ever been made, so we consumers are the ones that are going to win. So if you could pick one tablet right now between the iPad Pro and the Samsung S7 Tab, which would it be and why? Comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, clicking that like button is the best way to help me out, as this goes a long way for me. Thank you guys for watching. My name is KJOS, and I'll catch you guys on the next one where we talk all things tech.